Honestly, we can start the vibe with the laughter, man.
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
Because the other ones have felt more, I feel like suit and tie.
This time on the Purpose Vision podcast.
So we're just getting straight into it.
All right, we're going to get straight into this. All right, this is the season 1 recap. We got the full cast here.
Yeah.
TJ on the mic.
Drew.
There's Moo.
Schemes.
You said that too low, man. And we got Dr. Miami in the corner over here, too.
You already know the vibe. Dr. Miami in the corner. You heard? SB.
But yeah, we back again. So we're going to do a little something special, bring everybody together just to kind of do some reflections on season 1. Shout out to everyone that was able to show us love and check out the videos and the episodes, and, you know, a lot of positive feedback. And also shout out to these gentlemen here sitting next to me. We did something that we set out to do, and I'm proud to say that we accomplished what we set out to do. So I want to give y'all a special shout out. But we're going to just have a little time of reflection. And one of the things that we'll do to kick things off is just thinking back, like, what was your favorite episode?
Favorite episode. So on paper, I think we were speaking about this earlier. My favorite episode was probably episode 7, which was the role model episode. And what's interesting is it was my favorite episode, obviously, because I think we had some good content in that episode. I think we had a vibrant discussion, but it also had had the wheels turning for me in terms of, like, now that we're in this podcast space, like, are we going into that direction of, like, us being role models? I feel like in our lives, like, you know, we're role models to somebody in our lives. But now it kind of like put it to the forefront as we were talking about our role models, which leads me to think about, like, yo, I think we got another idea going into season 2 now. So I think I was more so excited post episode about, like, what we could do for next season. And I think, and also, like I said, it was just good content, but that's where I was coming from with that.
Episode 1 was most special. I think that us coming all together, I'm not really too familiar with you. I met you probably about 1-2 times and everything like that. We had a good vibe, as I've seen you throughout, you know, different spaces, but all of us coming together on camera, behind the camera, and meshing together, creating a synergy amongst all of us. Then we step on camera to pod. I think that was really what secured, you know, us podding together so efficiently. And also us coming together based off of a vision that you had. I don't think that we'll be in this room podding and talking about the things that we going through and the things that maybe other people are going through and scared to speak on if you didn't have the vision to first gather us all together and bring it forth. So salute to you.
Appreciate that. I think for me, the 2-part episode on friendships, identity, and actually, it was like a toss-up, right? So the one where we talked about friendships and our identity, but then the one we talked about relationships and identity, I think both of those kind of like weighed heavily on me because, like, personally, I had a lot of reflection moments during those episodes. Going through life with a partner, that's a whole nother level. But then also hearing some experiences that y'all even shared. I think it was Drew that had said it, where it was something on the lines of,
I did struggle with was I didn't know necessarily how to communicate that to my partner.
So, like, when it comes to, like, in terms of relationships, right? Like, you know, you're thinking it, but it's like the struggle you had, and I think that's literally what you said, like, the struggle you had was, like, how to communicate what you were thinking. And for me, like, that resonated because I feel like a lot of times, you know, you have a lot of things going through your mind, and it's like, do I even vocalize it? And if I do, how do I do it? So that was like one of those moments for me where it's like, I'm not the only one that feels that way sometimes. And that for me was real because sometimes I felt like maybe that's just a me thing. But then also in the friendships piece, because that one was relationship, and for the friendships piece, I think something you said, Sean.
Because I realized it was the fear of things that were unsaid that let negativity fester in relationships.
And I don't know if you had used the analogy from Beezy when it was like the fear of things not said. Or something like that.
Yeah.
So that really hit me because even for me, I've over the years and even recent times developed this notion of like, I ain't gonna talk about it. I'm gonna just do it and not say nothing. But then it made me think like, you know, certain conversations maybe I needed to have that I didn't, then now I actually want to like make that effort to have.
Nah, my favorite was the first one. Thanks, brother. It was the first episode where we all come together. I also like when we spoke about relationships, and I took words from you when you said
So I struggled with my identity a lot of times because I ended up just being almost what other people needed me to be, right? Instead of being able to stand on who I know I am. People will ask me like, yo, what do you want? I couldn't really answer that because even if I did answer it, the answer would sound along the lines of what they expected me to say.
you realize what you started to become for other people and stuff. In that moment, I was listening to you, and I took those words home, and I had to recite those words to myself. You understand? I feel like that part was directed to me in a sense too, because we here sharing our experiences for other people, but we could take it for ourselves too.
Right.
And I took some of those words too and had to reflect on it, and I was like, yo, I experienced that too. You understand?
Okay.
Yeah, it was a toss up for me for episode 1, the identity, and the last episode, role models. But I feel like I'm ultimately gonna go with role models because I'm just in this season where I'm like, yo, I'm waving the white flag on things that I just don't know how to do or like haven't experienced. But in the past, I feel like my mindset was always like, yo, I gotta figure it out by myself. I gotta struggle through it, and then when I come out on the other side, I will get to feel the excitement of like, yo, I did it all by myself. And I think having enough instances where that didn't really work out according to plan, it got me in this new state of mind where I'm just like, bro, I'm just trying to wave the white flag and whatever I don't know how to do. Obviously, you know, you want to do your own research. But whatever I don't know how to do, like, where's the role model? Where's the mentorship? Where's the guidance? You know what I'm saying? Like, I went to this event the other day, and jokingly, there was this lady, she's like the director of a program, and I just met her. I was like, yo, I need a mentor, like, mentor me. You know what I'm saying? But that's something that I would never say. Because I'm always just trying to, like, come off as, like, yo, I have everything figured out. Somebody asks you a question, like, yo, what you gonna do next? Or what you gonna... And then you kind of want to feel like, yo... like you have a plan, but sometimes it's just like, bro, I don't know what you think. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's the era that I'm going into, and I think I'm actually go a lot further. And there's a quote like, if you want to go, I think it's if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. So that's where I'm at right now. That's why I think the role model ones definitely resonated the most with me.
And it's crazy you said that because even though the role model I didn't check as my favorite one, similar to you, I also did my own outreach to actually a pastor at a church that my brother plays at. And, you know, I literally just pulled him at the side and like, yo, listen, man, like I need kind of like a sparring partner, but someone that's kind of been through more than me, a little further along as me. Yeah. Because it's one thing if, you know, you got a couple of friends or people like a couple of years older than you, but like someone that's kind of 10,
like
15,
years
like,
ahead.
yeah, it's like, all right, you done lived this, done this, had years behind you that I'm now chasing. Because similar to you, it's like, I don't know it, man. Like white flag, like, help me out. You know what I'm saying? So,
and it's such a simple concept when you think about it, but like in the moment it's just hard to come to terms with, because especially if you think about like the youth, right? All of us, I'm sure, like have some youngins that we, you know, that will give game to, and so it puts you in that mindset of like, yo, I have to have everything figured out. But
Is that ego? Sorry to cut you off.
Nah, it's not. You're not cutting me off.
Does ego play a part? into why it feels like it's so hard to raise the white flag.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it is partially ego. Because like I said, you want to feel like you have everything figured out. And at least for me, it's like my friend might ask me a question and I don't know the answer. And I'm just like, oh, this is what I'm thinking about doing. Instead of just saying like, bro, this has been a challenge. I don't know. Like, what's your thought? Like, what direction should I go in? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's ego. But also I think what made it difficult is that I'm this role model to younger people. So in my mind, I'm like, well, if I'm a role model, then I must have answers to all the questions. And I can't possibly be like, how could you possibly be getting help from other people when other people are looking to you for help? It was a weird thing to sit with, but now that I've accepted it, I'm like, that makes perfect sense, because the areas that I need help with are spaces that I haven't walked before. You get what I'm saying? But I could still help. Like, you could still help people and get help at the same time.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's real.
They don't got the answer, Sway.
Yeah. I don't got the answers. And I'm okay with that now, you know?
Yeah, that role model episode was fire, bro. And what you don't, as we get older too, you realize your lens changes as you get older.
Yeah.
So I think that's why, to Tim's point, like, you can think of all the different variables to help out, like, whatever your situation is, but literally someone 10 years ahead, like, can see it clearly, right? Because their vision is just light years ahead of where we are based on their experiences. So sometimes you need that, that different perspective. And it goes a long way, even if it's just you bouncing ideas off of. Yeah, I mean, that's a powerful tool, but the ego part definitely plays a part, into that.
But what made you bring up the whole ego part of it? Is that something you...
Because I felt that when he said it. I'm like, because we spoke, one of the episodes we were talking about, like, I think I had made a comment about being a man. I'm a man, bro. I got to deal with this. This too shall pass.
Yeah.
When I made a comment about,
I'm a man, bro.
I'm a man. I got to handle it. But in that moment, like, I was a little shook, and I feel like, I give you guys a comparison. As a homeowner, Tim, not to put you on the spot, as homeowners, we are all learning different things.
My name is TJ, by the way.
Sorry. I don't even know who was that. Who is that person? So TJ, he's great with certain aspects, construction wise, and I know there's things that he's learned, but he's ahead of me in what I'm learning. So sometimes it's like, yo, I'm getting ready to do something. You know what? Before I just completely mess this up, let me reach out to my boy, because he knows. But in the moment, I'm like, I don't want to reach out to him because I want to figure it out. He figured it out.
Yeah.
Did he reach out to anybody?
Yeah.
Like, what is that? That's ego.
But is
that not ego?
It's ego, but also this what makes it more complicated. I feel like there's value in struggling a little bit,
learning,
right?
which is like what I tried to do. But then at some point, it's like, I think they call it suffering in silence.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you just try to do it for too long, and you're not making the progress that you want to make, it's like, bro, you just gotta wave the white flag and be like, yo, what is this? And it doesn't. It's a very hard thing to come to terms with. But it's like, it doesn't make you less fly or less of a man or less, intelligent because you don't know those things. And in fact, like, I feel like the people who are smartest, they ask a lot of questions too.
Right.
And they surround themselves with people that are smarter than them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's the mindset that I'm on now.
But I was going to say, back to your point, Sean, I think, and this is my opinion, I think being a man as well, like, plays a huge part, right? Because it's almost not only like what you're taught, society and all this stuff, is like, you're supposed to be the one to figure it out and like be the leader, be the one with the answers. If you don't got it, you got to find the answers. So it's almost like you're expected to know, but then you're not also taught where to find the answers. So then you have a situation where it's like, I know I don't know, but I'm expected to know because everybody else is looking at me to know, but I don't. And then it's like, all right, I got to humble myself to go find the answers. But in doing that, it almost makes me seem like I don't know what I'm supposed to.
You don't want to seem weak.
Or you feel incompetent.
I'm confident.
Yeah, but like you said, there's power in trying to figure it out, and then also realizing, like, yo, me trying to figure it out on my own is a losing battle. So now I gotta You know, maybe waving the white flag is not the right thing, but that could be my ego saying, ain't nobody waving no white flag.
Yeah, see, but the
I'm not
ego
waving no
showing
white
up
flag.
now.
I ain't waving no white flag.
Even the phrase, he can't accept that.
Yeah, like that. I got a crazy
All
side.
right, it's a red flag for you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Dipset. Nah.
Just don't go on junction with that.
What you
Nah.
said?
Sure. What's that thing you said you was gonna do earlier?
What?
When we was talking earlier, you said you were gonna start do something. What was it?
Oh, full circle.
That
Stop
was
resisting.
That was it right there. Prime example.
Yeah. So earlier,
crazy.
for obviously folks who were not in the room before we started recording, I was talking about like not resisting certain. That was fire. Not resisting certain things, just for the fact of resisting, right? Whether it be something someone asks of you, or just something that you're doing in your life. You know. So the example I gave was if your kid asks you to turn around and look at something. It could be something extremely silly, you know, them spinning around in a circle, but you are prioritizing what you got going on in the moment versus taking 5 seconds to look. And to Esmo's point, I'm resisting even using the term white flag
Yeah.
because I don't have a good reason to resist.
Because
you a man,
ego.
I'm a man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got hair on my chest, you heard?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that, but
I'm just saying.
TMI.
Wow. That was a good full circle
You know what's
moment.
crazy? Switching gears a little bit. Somebody who one of my friends told me like they couldn't tell that we didn't know each other
oh yeah, on the pod.
on the pod. I don't know why that was so difficult to say that. I think it's the liquor in here.
It's
Yeah,
the
but they were
confidence in the
saying, yeah, it's the confidence in the
protein.
the protein in this. Yeah, they were saying they couldn't tell that this was the first. I'm like, yeah, bro, like, because they were like, yo, how's the pod? I'm like, yo, pod is going good, but I feel like we're building rapport on camera and off camera too.
Right.
And they're like, oh, like you don't know these guys? I'm like, bro, I only know one of them technically, which is the man in the lime green. You know what I'm saying?
Lime green.
I'm gonna get no worry.
You know what I'm saying?
You better chill.
So I'm saying that to say
just now.
I'm saying that to say shout out to us though,
Yeah.
because you can't really tell.
Yeah,
The vibe.
Especially like you put 5 alphas in a room together and it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
Wait, but you know what I remember?
wait, why you say that? Why you said that?
I'm not even feeding into that. I'm not gonna feed into that. We're gonna come back to these two. We're gonna come back, but it's like,
Because they go back and forth at each
bro,
other.
it's crazy.
But that's just like friendly.
That's just some brotherly love type shit. The brothers. That remind me of the friendship episode when y'all was talking about friendships and
Yeah.
Tim had said something like,
is Tim?
I don't know who Tim is, but TJ had said something along the lines of like, yo, you had said, I think you had said something about making organic friendships. And I think Esmo said something about
Sometimes they just fall into your lap.
like it's the vibe. Sometimes you meet somebody, you understand?
yeah.
And it's the vibe, you just
You
make a
understand?
connection, you
Yeah, I
understand?
understand.
And then it goes from there, you understand? So to me, that's what you talk about.
Yeah.
You like ninjas met and it was
It's
just like
friends fall into your lap.
fall into your lap. You understand?
Yeah, that's
You understand?
to that point.
Yo, all the schemes are chance yet.
Don't worry, he gonna
Yeah,
get
yeah,
his
yeah,
chance.
yeah, yeah. Real
He
men,
come up with
real
a pick out
men
pants.
wear pink.
He
You
be
heard?
himself. Proud of him.
That first of all, that's sad.
I don't know what he be on his
Real
shoot
men
photo,
wear
but
pink.
all right.
Yeah.
But my point that I was gonna make is I think what makes it organic and easy for us to kind of get into a flow is that one, we're talking about topics that resonate with all of us in a different way. And I feel like even if it was us 5, or not to take away from the synergy we created, but I also feel like if any other male, in my opinion, were to sit next to us in this room and we talk about these same topics, they're going to have something to share. You know what I'm saying? They're going to have some experiences, because what I love about what we were able to do is not sit here and tell people we're right, you're wrong, do this, but more so, okay, this is how I found my answer. This is how you found your answer. And then in certain moments, we were able to have similarities. In other moments, we had total different experiences, but it all resonated because it's real stuff. You know what I'm saying? And as men, it's like 10 years from now, 10 years ago, we're also not talking about just clickbait stuff where it's like, what is that? Like, that's trending now. This is like real stuff. So I think that's why it just makes it easy for us to fall into, you know, that kind of synergy, in my opinion. But go ahead, Schemes. I feel like we ain't hear nothing from you. I don't know if you deep in
They're seeing steam coming from that corner. Go ahead.
steamy.
One thing I can say is, as we're recording these episodes, as we're, in the group chats and we're talking about, what's next or whatever the case may be, for me, real life is happening in real time.
Yeah.
What you mean by that?
So
Real life.
real life for me is I'm going through different things where I'm trying to navigate, trying to figure out, okay, what's next for me? Where am I going? What's my purpose? I'm trying to navigate a new vision, create new things for myself. And sometimes I go through a struggle where I may not want to reach out to anybody. I may not want to write in a group chat. I may not want to, sometimes I may not even want to pray, depending on how I feel in certain circumstances. But one thing, especially as I started rewatching the pod, it shows you that, we speak on the same exact things that we may be going through, or the same exact things I may be facing.
Yeah.
And it also gives us, gives me the fuel to say, okay, well, I said this during this episode. My brother said this during this episode. I could take these gems and try to apply it to my situation right now.
Yeah.
So even though I'm hurting, or even though I may be scared about what's next, or I'm worried about my future, or whatever the case may be, I can listen back to certain episodes and pull certain things from it and try to apply it. So I think that's the thing that I hope that everybody, when they listen to these episodes, that they're able to grab something, even if it's just one thing. You could grab something and try to apply it to your life.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably.
That's deep. And I think, as B, you had said to me, I don't know if it was on the phone conversation, but it's crazy how we look back at these episodes that we did, and it's therapeutic for us.
It's very therapeutic.
You know what I mean? And it's like, because I even found myself like even rewatching some of the episodes, because even like during the editing phases and stuff, where I'm like, because even my girl, she would literally be like, yo, how many times you gonna listen to that? Like, and I'm like, honestly, like I just be locked in, like almost like I'm watching TV, but it's like, I'm listening to this stuff and it's like giving me gems and stuff. So, I mean.
But as anybody outside, ever reached out to you and say like, yo, I felt this.
So, I mean, I wasn't gonna go there yet with the conversation, but that's a good call. It was crazy not crazy, but it was encouraging to see that different people from different areas of my life. So at work, people that I thought like, oh, okay, this is cool, whatever, sat me down. I remember there's one of my coworkers, like I went into the office and I saw him, and it's almost like he wanted to talk about the pod, but couldn't find an actual way because we at work. So it's like, unless I bring it up, it's like, how do I bring it up? But it's like that yearning to like talk about what he heard. And then I think he said something along the lines like, oh, what camera you use? Something random that had nothing to do with the episode, but it created that opportunity. And then we had a whole conversation, and it would encourage me because like, yo, honestly, like what you're doing, man, like it's needed. And mind you, like, don't have similar background or anything like that, but to hear him give that feedback without me looking for it, that was big. And then also hearing feedback from, even older relatives that I would think like, good job, you know what I mean? But they're like, nah, like that resonated. I even have a cousin that, if he sees this, no offense, but I don't even remember who he is, but he watches every episode, right? Gives me like literally tunes in like every time I send the link or whatever, and then he will give me feedback every single time. And I appreciate that because before that, like never spoke with him. And then now we're having conversations. So I've seen the impact in other people. And those are just two examples, but I don't know about y'all, if y'all have any other examples of like.
We would love to hear the feedbacks.
Yeah.
So for the people out there,
Also, nobody tell you nothing.
no one tell me nothing.
No, they don't like you then.
How to be, boy. They don't understand.
Oh yeah, they don't understand. They don't understand. But not.
Shout out to your unknown cousin though. I ain't gonna
Honestly,
Patrick.
First cousin, second cousin.
I know him. I know him. But what I'm saying is one of those things where it's like, I knew his name, never interacted with him, but then after dropping episodes of the pod, like literally seeing how receptive he was to it, now all of a sudden, right, in that group chat where
Following him back on Facebook.
I don't know if I found him back yet. So you set me up. Next person, please.
So then follow him back.
Nah, but yo, what's crazy is that a lot of the feedback that I receive, like separately from like the immediate family, is from people who are not within your immediate circle. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I watched a podcast the other day where the dude was like, yo, y'all know I love boxing. The dude was like, yo, when I started my boxing podcast, like my family and friends, I didn't even send it to them. And somebody in the comments was like, why not? And he was just like, yeah, because your family and friends take forever to support you. And this is no shade to family and friends, but it's just a reality. Like, yo, strangers.
Yo, hit the blinds real quick.
When they,
No, I'm playing.
strangers, when they like something,
Yeah.
when strangers like something or people who are not as closely connected with you, they don't necessarily feel any type of way of passing judgment, So I think they just watch it with more of like an open mind. And I think for your cousin who you're maybe not as close with, it was the same concept. Same thing like
My boy. You talking about?
perfect example, your boy who reposted.
Yeah.
And I think you were probably surprised when
Yeah.
he even reposted it. Cause
I was.
That's what I'm saying. So in the random people who reached out to me, like the young lady who reached out to me and gave me that
Yeah, I
comment or
remember that.
whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I was just in shock, bro, because I'm like, I didn't even send this to you. Like, how did you even see it?
find it, yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's a pleasant surprise, and it gets me a little hype because like that's just a fraction of where it could go, and the impact that the podcast could have as long as we keep on kind of digging deep with what we're talking about.
Nice.
And I ain't gonna lie to y'all, like I've even had, and this is off the script right now, but I've even had moments and sometimes like me and my girlfriend would be talking about like different ideas and stuff where like, okay, this is what I'm thinking, this is what I'm thinking, this is where I might want to go, this is what I might want to do with it. And I even share with her sometimes like I just feel real discouraged because it's like life is, like you said, life is happening, right? So, and I'm the type of person, I don't want to start something and not see it through, right? So when I'm having a rough week, right, I'm not feeling like motivated or whatever, and it's like, all right, I gotta jump on the chat with y'all and try to like come up with ideas or like edit that next episode or whatever. And it's like having those moments where it's like, damn, like, is this actually worth it? But then as time goes on, you'll have those moments, or I've had those moments where I was like, you know what I mean? Like even today, right? Like we had issues like getting certain things going or whatever. And it's like that constant, like, now you got to see it through though. You know what I'm saying? And that's for me personally, like when I hear y'all speak, when I hear other people give feedback, it kind of keeps me going because I'm not just doing this just to say like, I did something. Like I want it to have impact. You know what I'm saying? I want there to be purpose behind it, but I just want to share that because I definitely appreciate y'all going on this journey because it ain't easy, man.
And
It ain't easy.
Each and every viewer as well.
Yeah.
Everybody. So shout out all there.
Yeah, everyone that tunes in, likes, subscribes, people we don't even know, reaches out, So,
Thank you.
yeah. But the next thing we was going to talk about too is like biggest takeaways. So I don't know who want to go first.
I mean, you kind of touched on some of them. just
Okay.
now.
Any other takeaway thoughts in terms of like from the season, like any aha moments or any changes in terms of perspective, I would say, from anybody.
Scheme studying hard, but yo, wake up.
Well, this is off of the question. I think that the number one thing, not the number one thing, but the conversation that we were having around happy wife, happy life. That one.
That was the take.
That was in the takeaway, but I had to laugh when I started
missed that
reading
one.
some of the comments people had on that topic. Listen, I feel okay. I don't agree with the happy wife, happy life for all y'all men who sign up for that. Salute. Me, I think that is happy spouse, happy house. We both have to contribute to each other's happiness in this house for it to flourish, for it to blossom.
Yeah.
So many times I think that men decide that they have to give the woman they all. They have to do this, they have to do that. No. The both of y'all have to be whole, and the two whole people then could begin to pour into each other. But if I'm halfway full or you're empty, there's no way I can expect you to pour into me or me to pour into you. So
But how do you fix that situation? Or
you have to become whole. You have to become whole. You have to go through the steps from episode 1 to episode 7. All this is life gems that you really have to go to. You have to figure out who you are, what's your purpose, what's the vision, what you
You got to watch every episode of this podcast.
pretty much.
Basically.
watch every episode. That would help.
Talk about all of that.
That would help. But you have to really define what it is that you're trying to accomplish, who you are, and all these different aspects of you. And also you have to love yourself. If you don't really love yourself and there's a lot of issues there going on with you, insecurities, everything like that, it's going to be extremely difficult for you to now pour into someone else. So you have to deal with you, take care of you first, so you could take care of someone else. But that's just me. That's how I feel.
Can't pour from an empty cup. I feel
Exactly.
like.
That's just how I feel.
Yo, clap it up for Schemes with that one, son. Clap it up. I like that one.
What's so sharp?
I like that one.
Only smart
I like
thing
that
you
one.
ever see.
Oh man. Nah, I feel that.
It's too much gems. We had to balance it out with some
Some ignorance.
ignorance.
You understand?
You understand?
Understand? Yo, so what I think the biggest takeaway for me was being able to hold the mirror to myself with an audience. You see what I'm saying?
What you mean?
Because I got y'all. It's not just me having that moment of self-reflection, like alone, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, put the kids to sleep and how was the day? I could have done this better. Now I'm like talking to the goons about it, like, yo, this is, and then I get to hear it. So here's the thing. It's like a 3-part, right? You think about it. Dang, I can't believe I said that. Then I say it out loud to y'all. And it's like, oh, snap. I just heard myself say that. And then I watch it back. And I'm like, yo, I can't believe I either realized that or in the moment, like, man, I don't even think I realized where that could have went if I had thought about it this way, or you guys made a comment and I'm like, dang, I thought I handled that well, but I didn't. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's the biggest takeaway is putting aside the ego. And especially when we, you know, when we got a little personal, we actually started talking and I'm getting more specific with some of the different topics. I think that was, it was tough to do, but it was therapeutic.
Yeah.
Right. Because I don't know about y'all, like I've never been in therapy before. So like this is a form of therapy, right? Because outside of wifey and maybe my pops, you know, my parents, like I don't talk to anybody about anything. You know what I mean? So
Because you don't believe in therapy or what?
it's not to believe in it, it's just
You just never did it.
like I'm a happy guy. Everything is fine. Everything is wonderful.
At least that's how, or at least that's how you make yourself feel.
Yeah, and that's how everybody perceives life to be, right? So my life is good, but that don't mean like man them don't have challenges the same way everybody else does.
Yeah.
It's just I think the way that I move forward throughout my day is just very different. So I always feel like I'm gonna be good, right? But like I said, getting a chance to talk to y'all and unpack, it's like, whew, like I feel lighter. You know, and I know this is turning into a longer takeaway, but for anybody else, maybe you're listening and you get a chance to actually like hear some of the stuff that you might be going through, and it's like, oh wow, somebody else is going through that.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I feel a little bit lighter now. I'm not the only one, and I think that was a big part of it too, is realizing like, yo, you're not the only one feeling this way or going through this thing. You know, whatever it may be. So I think that was a 3-part takeaway, but yeah, that's the biggest takeaway for me for the season, son.
You don't feel as alienated.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You know it's gonna be fire though when we have a sponsor, and then you could be like, "Yo, this episode of Purpose Vision is sponsored by BetterHelp.
That part.
Go get your therapy.
Target
Word,
that
word, word.
part.
Link in the
BetterHelp.com/Purpose Vision.
Word. But nah, I feel that too.
That's
And
fire.
you know, one of my big takeaways was, and I think it's 2-part. One, as I rewatched a lot of episodes and I heard myself speak about certain topics and certain things, it's like that's the first time I said that out loud. To your point.
Yeah.
And then secondly, hearing that I said it out loud, it also made me now reflect even deeper, because for me, I think about a lot of stuff, but sometimes I either don't vocalize it because I don't feel I have an avenue to vocalize it, or I don't know how to put it into words. But in real time, in some of them episodes, it's like the words flow, like the words flowed or flew or whatever. And then I can watch it back and it's like, damn, like I was either hurting when I said that, or now I can listen to that and I'm like, dag, like my perspective came from this place, but now I can adjust and tweak moving forward because I said it out loud. And sometimes for me, it's like you just gotta say it out loud. Like once it's on the inside, it's gonna bottle up, eat away at you, whatever. But once you put it out there, and it's like it's almost like you release it.
It's an energy release.
Yeah, you just release it, and then once it's released, you can let it go, and you can move on. You know what I'm saying? So that was one huge takeaway for me, and then two, just listening. I think to, and I said this earlier, just hearing everyone give their perspectives on similar struggles, it just reinforced like I'm not going through this alone. Like, because sometimes it dead feels like, nah, this is only me. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's for me. I know about y'all too.
You got a cue in the Michael Jackson.
Yeah,
Yo,
we
someone
can't
get this, man.
We can't get copyright, so stop.
Yeah.
Facts.
You gotta do the karaoke version.
Yeah. Takeaway for me was, or what I think I appreciated was that a lot of times podcasts or just conversation in general, I feel like it's easy to just, like you were saying earlier, talk about what's trending or just like sports or whatever. You get what I'm saying? But I feel like it's harder to sit down and have a conversation about very taboo topics, very real topics, and it doesn't feel like a lecture. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't want to watch something and be like, man, like turn this off. You know what I mean? So I think we were tasked with trying to touch on very serious things, but not make it like super lecture style. You know what I mean? And I feel like we found that balance. I mean, y'all gotta let us know in the comments. Like, did we find that balance? Did this feel like I don't think it felt too preachy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's one thing that I'm appreciative of. I also didn't know TJ was a poet with the blind map and the man and the destination and all that kind of stuff.
All
you know what I'm
whole
saying?
season, y'all
I didn't
still
know, you know what I'm
ain't get
saying?
it. Don't worry. At the
I
end
didn't
of
know
this,
he
at
had-
the end of this, I'm gonna say it again.
I didn't know he had bars like that. You know what I mean?
And it's
he
not
got
Chat
bars.
GBT either.
He got
This man
bars,
stay
alright.
saying that.
He gonna renovate that saying for season 2 though.
Yeah, but no, that was my takeaway. It's like the first time, or one of the few times where you have a conversation and it's like half laughter, but also like half serious shit. You know what I mean? Excuse me, I'm French.
You said it in English.
It's the protein in the cup. You know what I mean?
Mr. You understand? What did you understand this season?
Everything. Nah, my biggest thing is like just learning from everybody. I want to say you understand so bad.
Yo, we're making him self-conscious now.
Yeah, they just come up. But nah, me, I is normally a quiet person, as all you would know, in Michelle. And this right here, bring him out of it more and more. Man, that's,
Just release it, yo. Release
I
it.
understand, bro.
Let it go,
Release
man.
it.
Let it fly. Let it fly.
understand.
Let it fly.
Just release
Let
it. That's good. That's part of the purpose.
But that's real.
vision.
That's real. Go ahead.
Yeah.
nah, that was basically what I had, because I will say you understand too much. But no, for real. I appreciate this vision that you brought to life.
Yeah.
I
That we
appreciate-
brought to life.
Yeah. Well, you bring the idea about. We bring it to life, yes. And we all come together sometimes. I mean, for the first part, Sean wasn't here. But when he couldn't make it, he come. Same thing for me. I missed out. But this right here is a blessing. You understand? And
You're good. You're good. You're good.
You're good.
nah, I like it. I like what I learned from everybody so far.
Yeah.
And just want to continue learning along with the audience as well. Yeah.
Okay. Now, before we get into the audience response part of things, what does purpose vision mean now to you all? Whether it's the same or different, but if someone were to pull you to the side, like, yo, SB, yo, Drew, Schemes, yo, Esmo, like this purpose vision podcast, like what do you define purpose vision to be? How would you answer that question?
Well, for me, I think that is more than a catchy tagline. It's more than the name of this podcast. I think that it's a lifestyle. Every day I intend to walk into purpose. I tend to have an exact vision of the way I want to live, the way I want to do things, the way I want to treat others. And I'm hoping that through that vision that I have, that I'm walking in line with my purpose. So I really feel that purpose vision is just who we are, and is definitely a lifestyle.
Okay.
For me, I would say it's pushing the envelope a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Challenging myself to think outside the box, like they say, and not do like just the basic things, and then having the integrity and the consistency to just continue to follow through, even when, like you said, you might be having a bad week or something comes up and you don't feel like doing it anymore. You know, you have the consistency, you have the discipline to follow through. So that's what I would say what it is for me. But you have to define, which is what we spoke about on episode 1. You know what I'm saying? Like what do you want? What is your brand? Like what do you ultimately want to be remembered by? And that's a very heavy question. It's a very daunting question. It's something that takes a lot of time. But I think through conversation, through intentionality, like you will figure it out, at least for that season in your life, and then just start there. You know what I'm saying? Have that discipline, have that consistency, and then when it's time to reevaluate, then you will reevaluate and figure out like what you want to do moving forward from there.
Skeev's saying that he's now thinking about purpose vision throughout his day. Like that part is powerful, and then it ties into what you said about intentionality. I think that's essentially what it means to me, right? Is being driven within your purpose with anything that you do, right? And in the same line, I'm hoping that shares a parallel with just being intentional. Like I spoke about, like when we go through every single day and we do certain things and we don't have a care in the world, or because it's so routine, we don't really think about how well we are at it, right? Everybody know how to cook scrambled eggs, right? But how often have you sat there and said like, yo, is this the best scrambled eggs I ever made? Now, I'm not saying you got to do that with every single thing, but the reality is like, since I started doing this podcast, I'm like, yo, I can be way more intentional with the way I set up my morning. Like it's simple stuff like that. Like would that relieve me later on? Going back to what I said before, like if I, didn't resist, looking at my daughter spinning a circle and telling me that's a new move, would that make my day smoother? So to me, it's now, it's almost like a bit of a motivation for me to continue to find my purpose, but also be more intentional with what I'm already doing, right? Whether it's work, whether it's what I'm doing at the gym, as a parent, as a partner, as a friend, like, and I hope that's what people are taking from this. Is purpose vision is not just like, let me be motivational. It's like, yo, find motivation in everything, right? And see how that can take you throughout your day, throughout your week, so that you can find your purpose. And if you already found your purpose, how intentional are you while you're pursuing that? So I think it is a lifestyle. When you first said it, I was like, that's a fire tagline. But I mean, like, it's real. Like, purpose vision is really a lifestyle, and it's a hot hashtag. You know what I mean? So glad to be a part, bro. And like I said, I look forward to what the vision is moving forward as we push through within our purpose here on this podcast.
That's deep. I'm going to echo what three of y'all said a little bit more, where the intentionality piece, but, just taking it another level, like you said, not just with work, relationships, family, goals, but really making sure that everything that I'm chasing is really tied to my purpose in life, right? Because now I'm at the phase where I'm starting to think legacy and why am I doing what I'm doing, right? Okay, you want to get a house, you want to get a car, you want to, make money, you want to invest, you want to have multiple streams, whatever it is, right? But why are you actually doing it? Because if it doesn't actually align with your purpose, then you're kind of wasting time chasing something that doesn't connect. So for me, it's okay, what am I doing? Where am I spending my time? Where am I investing, or what am I investing into? Does it connect to what I believe my purpose is? And if it doesn't, less time. And then, okay, what does connect to my purpose? More time there. And it takes intentionality. It takes a lot of adjusting, because especially when you have to unlearn certain things that have become so routine,
That part.
I think that's a hard part, right? Because now when you start thinking like, okay, an example, I want to pray every morning and night, right? Because that helps me stay grounded, right? Like we talked about, I think in episode 2 or 3, right? What is your anchor? I think you had used that term, right? Yeah. So for me, prayer allows me to feel anchored. So how can I feel anchored if I don't do that on a daily basis? So now I have to be intentional about, okay, I'm going to get up 15 minutes early. I'm going to go to bed 15 minutes later, right? And that's just one small example. But for me, it's everything that I do now, I take a second to think, is this tied to my purpose, right? Or is this just something that I've been doing? And if it's something that I've been doing, I'm going to ask myself the hard question, why?
Right.
Right? It doesn't matter why I did it before. Why am I doing it now? Because as we grow and we elevate, when you're a child, you do child stuff. When you become an adult, things change. So for me, it's just hopefully. And if you're not there yet, it's fine, right? There's grace, selective grace,
Selective grace.
as Brother Schemes would say. But no, like it's really just reevaluating. And I'm constantly in the state of reevaluating everything around me, everything I put myself around. And it's fulfilling, y'all. Like, I don't know. It feels good when you look back at your day or your week and you look at the things that you did and like
Call some W's.
yeah, and it's real because now it's not just like, oh, I just did a bunch of stuff and now I'm tired on Friday, right? But it's like, oh, everything I did kind of chipped away at things that I actually care about and actually matter to me. Time might be spent with your kids, right?
Yeah.
That's going to mean something versus if you spend all that time out hustling, trying to make extra dollar. While it's important, what's more important to you? You know what I'm saying? Same thing in terms of any dreams, aspirations, careers, right? Like, okay, I got new equipment because I know you like photography and stuff like that. Like, I was able to get some of these new things. I was able to research and learn a little bit more about this. Now you look back like, all right, that's a productive week, right? Purpose-driven week, right? And Drew, I don't know what you do. No, I'm playing. But now for you, right, whether it's the work you're doing with students or stuff that you're doing with fashion, right? When you're able to learn new things, new techniques, right? Make new connections, because I know that's something you've been doing a lot, spending a lot of time doing, and building those connections, you can look back and say like, all right, there was purpose behind what I did this week. So
Yeah.
kind of long-winded, but for me, it's intentionality behind everything that I do, but constantly reevaluating. For me, that's how you live a life filled with purpose vision. That's what purpose vision means to me.
We're all talking about purpose vision. We're talking about, the words, the vision. We're talking about being anchored, all these different words. I just want people to understand there's going to be moments where you're going to fall off. There's going to be moments where failure may seem inevitable. And I don't want people to give up. I know we talk and it seems as if, we kind of have it all figured together. But for the people who are in the process of going about finding their path and understanding their vision, I just want them to understand that, along that journey, you will fail, but just remember to get back up. Just keep moving forward, keep striving, keep trying to push that needle just one level better or more than you did the day before, and you should be fine. That's all.
Yeah, I love that. And I'll say, just to add on to that, I feel like there's been times where I'm trying to, let's say I'm just working on a project, right? And I'm confused. I don't know what to do. You'd be so surprised by like how holding yourself accountable to try to answer that question, or in this case, figure out your purpose, like how in maybe like a week's time or a month's time, you'll gain so much clarity. But then in the moment of confusion, things just feel so uncertain. Like you don't know how long it's going to take for you to be able to answer that question. So I guess what I'm saying is like, you're closer than you think. You just have to like keep thinking about it. And eventually you're going to get there, you know, but it's just not obvious like how long it's going to take for you to start to get a little bit more of that clarity. But it could be 2 weeks away, it could be a month away, it could be 3 months away, it could be 6 months away, and that's, like you said, that's okay. You know what I mean? Just pulling that support where you need it, and even if you don't have it figured out, what you could do is just ask yourself those tougher questions. That's what's within your control. Always do what's within your control. Like just ask yourself those questions, and then eventually you're gonna get to an answer.
All right, so before we wrap things up, let's just take a few minutes to just respond to some feedback that we got from viewers and supporters, and you know, let's talk a little bit about that, as well as where each of us would want to go in terms of conversation for season 2. So, SB, I'm gonna kick it over to you.
Yeah, for sure, man. I mean, we got some great feedback from season 1, which was really great to hear and to read. Excuse me. But we had some episode suggestions. And one of the episode suggestions we kind of touched on, Schemes touched on it last episode, we've touched on it previously, and it literally was, is happy wife, happy life a myth? And as Schemes would have said, is it supposed to be happy spouse, happy house? Did I say that correctly? And that's a juicy topic. So I would look forward to touching on that on an episode. And the other episode, which I think we can break down and segment because it's super loaded, is men's health, mental versus physical. And I know Drew's going to touch on something specific within that realm, but I think that was a good topic. And I think this brother who reached out to me, he was specifically talking about men's mental health when it also came to weight loss, because everyone talks about getting brolic, getting fit, but no one talks about the weight of someone who needs to lose a severe amount of weight, how they're perceived, how does the world receive them, and you know, whether or not they're celebrated, and the way the process that it takes to lose that kind of weight. I'm not talking about like those 20 pounds. I'm talking about like 100 pounds. Was there a procedure involved? Did you just have to, you know, dive in and just focus on eating boiled broccoli and boiled chicken, you know what I'm saying?
Rice.
And nobody talks about that. So I thought that was interesting, because I know we're all health conscious and we're fitness conscious. And then the last one, which I think I wrote somewhere else, was real estate, especially within our community. And I think we kind of touched on that, you know, some of us being homeowners, but I think that's a great topic that we can bring to the table. I'm all for all 3 of those topics.
I agree. Some of the feedback that I received here. This one, the person wants us to do more collabs, and they're interested in doing collabs with us in the near future. I definitely would like to branch into,
like with speakers or gender.
I think that maybe collab. I guess they want to collab with sitting here or potting with us.
Okay.
I'm
like
open.
a guest, like a guest.
Guest speaker. I'm definitely open to potting with other people. I want to learn from other people. Even interested in potting with women. If we could get probably like a panel of women,
If you're interested, drop a comment in the chat.
Drop a comment.
We'll see.
A panel of elderly people as well. I want to hear from all walks of life.
Yeah.
So I'm open to collab.
Yeah, people who are more experienced than us.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
You know how when a teacher asks you a question and then somebody else takes your answer?
That's what he just did, right? That's what he did.
That's what he's doing.
That's
I got
crazy.
collaboration.
Oh, we on the same team. We on the same team. Man.
In the same
Come on
team,
now.
same team. All right, I'm gonna let you go, or I'm gonna let, or you need time to think of another answer.
No, I got
You
another.
got the you got
Yeah. So one thing that I think, I mean, this was both what I wanted to see, but also feedback that I got is just getting more personal in the in the stories that we tell. Getting
Stealing
more
answers,
Yeah. Getting more
Where do we got
specific.
that one from?
Yeah, shout out to that person that told us that. You know,
That told us all at
you
the
know
same
who you
time.
are. They might be within 100 feet of where we're at.
saying, you know.
what I'm
Good
saying?
person.
Shout out to the production crew. Another one that came up was like, how do you find friends as an adult? Because I think like that could, and not just like going somewhere and running into people, but like let's say you trying to like build a company, or you trying to like, you know, get into real estate. Like, how do you find a solid core group of people in that space? That was something else that came up. And then the third one is just like therapy as adults. I say as adults because we are all adults. That's not to say that like therapy is not important for kids too.
Right.
But just therapy and like what that looks like. How do you find a therapist? How do you like the value in it? Just all things therapy. And maybe that's where, you know, on those episodes, like maybe we could have people, not for all of them, but like maybe we could try to bring in somebody who is like
expert.
a licensed therapist or somebody who has experience.
If you do,
not
drop a
believing-
comment. Drop a comment.
Yeah, drop a comment like, or somebody who maybe like didn't believe in therapy before, but then has
Did it.
found a lot of value in it now. You know what I'm saying? So all of these kind of go hand in hand, but yeah, those are the things that kind of came up.
All right. I want to talk about insecurity, both male and female. I want to know like how you go through it, or if you get over it, what did you do to get past your insecurities? You understand? I also want to talk about social media impact on mental health.
That's like a 3-part.
Yeah, it's going to be, because it's what is mental health, perception, and relationships. So I feel like we're gonna do like a 2-3 parts in that.
Yeah.
6-part.
I like that.
Also, we talked about ego. So I want to dig deeper into that. Also, what was it? Coming out of your comfort zone, expanding out of your comfort zone. We did touch on that on the episode before, but I want to get more in depth into that conversation as well. So
Yeah.
Like specific what
Yeah.
that looks like.
And when you say ego, what you mean by that?
Shongo explain what he was talking about.
Phone a
Waving
friend.
the white flag.
Yo,
Yeah.
Miami, what you mean by ego?
Yeah, so y'all are crazy. So ego, in the sense of, I mean, ego. That's a loaded one, but I think ego plays a part within relationships, and ego also plays a part. In the way you move. So we had an example where I had a hard time even saying wave the white flag, right? Being able to ask for help. being able to ask for help, that plays a part in ego. You know, the way you respond to people, your ego plays a huge part, and the way you move throughout your work environment, and like I mentioned before, relationships. So ego could be a 2-3 part episode in itself, depending on how we break it down.
Could be a whole season.
Okay.
Let's
That's
everybody
ego.
just breathe.
Yeah, okay. And now for me, I kind of stole a bunch of my answers because I think we got a lot of similar feedback. But I think, you know, going into the next season, I think in general, just being very specific in terms of like the experiences. Because I know we touched the surface in a lot of different areas this season, but yeah, I would love to just go deeper and get real personal, you know, in certain areas. But also some feedback that I got which was some constructive feedback, was to always make sure that we add a positive spin at the end of an anecdote, right? So that way we never leave the viewers with like, okay, but then did anything get better? Did anything turn around? Like, is it still bad, right? So I think just being intentional about that, because I think there's power in telling our stories, but then also telling about the triumph and then the win, right, at the end. So that way that element of hope can be introduced into a lot of these conversations. But yeah, I mean, season 1, y'all, we did it. We made it. I'm happy to say we got to the finish line. Thank you to the viewers, the supporters. If there's any episodes you missed, go back. We got 7. It's all posted online on YouTube. Like, subscribe, share. Follow us on IG, Purpose Vision Podcast. But with that said, any final thoughts before I do this one last time? Because I think I'm gonna retire this season.
You gotta retire it.
I'm gonna retire.
I mean, I love it.
I gotta do it one last time.
One
We
last
all-
time.
we
One
all
last time.
love
That's it.
We
need another one
We love
every
the blind
season.
man who can't see,
Yes.
walking down the road and needs a
Do me a
Starbucks.
favor. I'm gonna say it, but as I say it, put the things on your glasses that you did earlier.
I gotta go. I gotta get on that.
All right. But
What things?
relax.
Yo.
Relax. He'll show
Yo,
you
why you
after.
always go to the next
That's
one?
what I'm saying. Wave your white flag. Wave the white flag.
Edit.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Edit.
I'm gonna say the retired phrase, and then I'm gonna end off with the future phrase.
Yes.
All right.
All right.
So the retired phrase is.
Wait.
Sorry.
That was crazy. The last thing I wanted to say before
Okay.
you say that was, you made a good point in taking a positive spin, but I also want folks to realize, like, you can find the W's in your life in places that you don't think. So not every W is going to look the way you think, right? But trust and believe, like, if the effort was put forth, you could find a W within
Yeah.
it, even if it wasn't X, all right? That you just triggered that.
No, that's real. That's real. What looks like a end of the road can actually just be the start of a new chapter. So see what I did there? See what I did there? Heard you. But are we good? Can I? One last time? One last time?
Retire it. Go ahead.
All right. Without purpose, vision, you're just a blind man with a map and directions and no destination. But wait, there's more. There's more. Purpose vision is a lifestyle to live intentionally.
I like that one better.
All right? All right, y'all.
Last quarter. It's the last
Don't
quarter.
that sound better? Man, somebody.
Can we end on it, please?
Oh, that was great. I like
All right, y'all. Till next time. Thanks again. Love y'all. Take care.